scene. The BBC's Nick Marsh.
We did reach out to ByteDance. They told us that the company respects intellectual property rights. It's taking steps to strengthen current safeguards to prevent the unauthorized use of intellectual property.
This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at jtv.com.
At the UPS store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS store. Be unstoppable.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
The Wake Up Crow, weekday mornings, 6 to 7:50.
WGNS, your good neighbor station.
Rutherford County's place to talk.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning, Murfreesboro. This is Mr. Murfreesboro, also known as Bill Wilson. Welcome to the Roundtable here at WGNS 1450 AM, 100.5 and 101.9 FM Talk Radio. I'm excited to be here on President's Day. I don't know if schools are out, but thank you, Brian Barrett, for helping open up the show there, your engineering degree. I would like to introduce our guest this morning. I'm excited to have him. He's a friend of mine. I guess we've known each other probably for 40 years, maybe even longer. However long I may have known your wife longer than you have.
I think you probably have.
I don't mean that in a good or bad way. But our guest today is I'm going to call him a local adventurer. He likes to do things different, but it's death-defying things. Maybe, well, I'll tell you who it is. It's David Jones. David, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Appreciate your invitation.
Hey, would you say the things, we're going to talk about all sorts of things, just kind of like what we've been doing out there. But
I'm good with it. Yeah, I'll talk about anything you want to talk about.
Well, let's right off the bat, a lot of people might not know this, but Jones Car Wash, that was your family. Elizabeth Jones, your mom, and Buck Jones.
That's exactly right.
And your father is a World War II. He's deceased. They're both deceased, but Buck was a World War II veteran. You said Normandy. He was there at Normandy.
He hit first wave on D-Day at 6:55 into Normandy. Yeah.
And then Mrs. Jones, I didn't really know your dad, but I knew your mom because I think everybody knew Mrs. Jones. She was beautiful. She had this jet black hair, and every time you went to get a car wash, I sold her an alarm system. This is back when I worked for ADT right out of college.
I remember that.
She'd call me up. And this is before cell phones. She'd go, "Bill, can you come over here and show me how?" And I'd go over there. But every time, inevitably, you go in to get your car, and that's where I got my car washed. She'd say she was a proponent of the DARE program. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Dare?
Yeah. Yes.
And she would, she was just a sweet lady and a pillar of the community. Everybody knew Mrs. Jones, but a lot of people may not know that was your mom and dad.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that about her. Yeah, she was a very driven woman, without question. And we opened the car wash, as I remember, in 1971, when I was in college.
Right. And then let's see, as far as your siblings, you've got two. Palmer.
I have one brother and one sister, Palmer, who was a coach
at Riverdale. He coached you.
That's
I remember
right.
Palmer
for several years. And then my sister, Charlotte, she's a Charlotte Stinson now, but she moved to Memphis and to Franklin, and now she lives here with her husband Ed. So they're back in the borough. Yeah.
Let's talk about where you grew up. Where did you grow up?
That's a good question.
Or where did you not grow up?
No, I don't know if I've grown up yet, Bill. Grew up here in Murfreesboro all my life, been here, and went to Critchlow in the first, second grade, and from there we happened to know the principal of McFadden at the time, which back then when I went was an outlaw school. It's a magnet school now. And
everybody's trying to get in it now.
Everybody's trying to get in it, and I tell her when I went to McFadden, they think I'm smart, but back then,
kind of like Central Middle back in the 70s. Yeah,
exactly. And I tell people when I went to McFadden, and seriously, if I had to do it again, I'd do the exact same thing. Loved it, actually. Had some great teachers and mentors over there. But I always make the joke that when I went there, if we got back in from recess, we were lucky.
If you made it back from recess?
After recess, yeah, we got back
in. Area, Westview, a lot of my dad's family lived over in Westview. Went to McFadden.
It was really, it really got a bad rap, I think. They thought a lot of people, it was kind of an outlaw school, but really it was just a lot of kids in Westview, just kind of poor.
Right.
Came from poor families.
There was Sword of the Lord was over there. Sword of the Lord.
Yes, it was.
There was a little store on the corner.
That's correct.
I don't remember the name of it, but there was a store there.
That's right. That's right. Happy Hill was over there.
Happy Hill.
Yeah.
That's on another show, okay? So you went there, and then did you go to Rockville or Central?
Actually, went to Central. I was back when they could do it out of grammar school, McFadden. I was recruited for basketball, and I could have gone to Walter Hill. The coach was trying to get me to come out there, but I ended up going to Central my freshman year, and I liked it. I was playing basketball. Went out for basketball. Was in the middle of trying to make that team. I think at that time, Bart Fight, Myers Parsons, those are people that you know. They were all in that class of 69.
Right.
But anyway, I was playing baseball during the summer here in Murfreesboro, and coach at Rockville, a little school, he recruited me to come out there in the summer, and he wanted me to play basketball and baseball. And I went out there. They had a summer program, and I went there and loved it. I loved the smallness of it.
The country.
Yeah, in the country, in Rockville. And so he literally picked me up off of Jones Boulevard here in Murfreesboro. I lived on Glenwood Drive, and he picked me up every morning, drove me to school at Rockville, and brought me home every day to play basketball and baseball.
And did you ever have any of that NIL money? That hadn't started yet.
That hadn't quite started. But I can assure you, I probably would not have been a candidate for that.
So you went to Rockville, and then did you go to MTSU?
Went to MTSU, yeah. Class. I was telling the gentleman out before we came in to start the show that I entered MTSU in 1969, graduated in 73.
73.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna guess that you met your future wife at Central, Pally Walker.
Actually, really, it is a funny story.
It wasn't a bar. It wasn't a bar, was it? I'm just kidding. Pally, I'm joking.
No, yeah, if she's listening.
Was it down to Holt's Corner?
You're trying to get me in trouble here, but actually, we did when I was a freshman in college, and she was a junior in high school.
Robbing the cradle.
That's where we met and went out a few times. And my recollection, we still laugh about it. I think she went to Europe for the vacation in the summer, and I don't know. We dated some, and then it was another 10 years before we got back together.
And y'all have been together. Y'all have been married a long time.
40, yeah, it'll be 43 years in October the 23rd of this year.
And the way I know Pally is through her brother Bill, who's my oldest friend,
Yes.
going back 50 years when they lived. The Dr. Walker lived on Clark Boulevard, where it's now known as the Bubba K. Woodfin House, and Dr. Walker wanted to go to Beech Grove, I think, wanted to go to the country.
Right. Want to build a log home out there.
Stonewood, which came from the Nolichucky River, I think. Now, I might be wrong. It came from East Tennessee, and they put it up there.
That's right.
Right.
No, you're right. That's correct.
And I spent many. If I wasn't in Murfreesboro, I was at Beech Grove. If I was at my house, I was at Bill's. If Bill wasn't there, he was at my house.
Yeah, that's really where I met you back then.
Right.
Basically,
50, yeah, a long time ago.
Long time ago, yeah.
And then Lib and my mother, they would call each other and say, "Please don't let the boys get together, please."
Yeah.
But that's another show.
But we all had challenging childhoods.
We did.
But we got through them. And as I was telling you earlier before we came in to start the show, I knew your dad well, and your dad would be very proud of you and what you've done.
Well, thank you, David. He was quite the character, Floyd. Now, let me ask you this. You're known, okay, your business, you got into banking because you got what type of degree at MTSU? A banking degree?
Actually, no. I actually got my degree in psychology, and I hated math. But it ended up, I got the opportunity to get in banking here locally. And I did that.
Citizen Central?
Citizen Central Bank.
Don Moser.
Don Moser gave me that opportunity. Thank a lot of Don. And from there, I stayed in banking for about 21 years and left banking in 95.
And then did you and Dr. Walker get into the healthcare business? Was it owning nursing homes, or was it managing nursing, or both?
Dr. Walker, of course, he was a true entrepreneur, and he did so many things on his own, buying, selling, developing, and he had the idea to go into long-term care business long before I came along, and Pally and I were married. He started that project, Boulevard Terrace here locally.
Yeah.
And then he moved on and built other facilities.
Chevel had one, Glen Oaks.
Yeah, Glen Oaks. And then when I was still in banking, and Pally and I, we were married, and one day he came to me and asked, thought that there was a need here in Murfreesboro for more beds. And he asked me would I have any interest, and I told him, well, I was a banker, I knew numbers, but I didn't know anything about long-term care. And, of course, Pally, my wife, was an RN, and she had the health experience, not me.
Right.
Mine was just a business as a number person. But from there, I said, well, I would have an interest. So I remember Dr. Walker said, well, apply for a CON. I didn't know anything about
it. The one about the Christian school?
Yeah,
okay.
Which was Northside at the time, Northside Healthcare. But he said, well, if you apply for a CON with the state, so I went to the state and figured all that out and got a CON. It took 5 years to get the certificate of need.
It's like bringing a hospital in.
Yeah, exactly. And there was competitive and competition with that, of course, and everything that goes along with trying to obtain a CON. But long story short, we ended up obtaining a CON and built a 60-bed facility at the time there at the north side. And it since has grown, but rather than run that, Joe had already had Glen Oaks Convalescent Center over in Shelbyville and Boulevard Terrace here in Murfreesboro. Yeah. And my wife went to work to operate and manage those two facilities on his behalf. And, of course, I'm brought into that to some extent with her managing those and overseeing those.
The connection was Pally.
I'm sorry?
The connection was Pally.
Yeah. It truly was. And I was kind of an afterthought. And I built Northside. I got that. And Jim Ayers, who started First Bank, a very good friend of ours. I did not know him. Joe introduced me. But Jim, who passed away last year.
Yeah.
But we brought him in as a partner. And long story short, we leased that facility for 20 years. And then we sold it. We sold that. And in 2010... sold Boulevard and Glen Oaks as well.
Boulevard is vacant now. I wonder who owns it.
It's a good question. We had such a good staff over there and a great facility. And after selling it in 2010, we kind of lost touch, of course.
Right.
And with everything that came along down the pike after that. But yeah, it's our understanding. I don't know what the circumstances were, but it changed hands maybe on a couple of occasions after Dr. Walker sold that facility.
Let me ask you this. I know you have a passion for running. When did that start? When was your... And one other question. Let's go back to Citizen Central Bank.
CCB.
CCB.
Okay.
They used to grow bees there and sell honey. Don't let the mayor hear that because, selling honey up at the school. I'm just kidding, Mayor Joe Carr. But there was a, what do you call it? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
they used to sell honey at Citizen Central Bank, which is now, it was on Maple Street where you get your tags now.
That's exactly right. And it was an old A&P store or grocery store.
At one time.
Or it was a grocery store.
Right, A&P.
I think A&P, maybe. And it had the doors that opened automatically.
You stepped on the mat?
Yes. And those doors were still there when it was a bank. We left those.
You utilized the doors.
Yes.
Saved money.
And since you came in the doors, Bill, the beehive was on the front of the building, inside the building.
There was a tube.
And there was a tube that went out for the bees to come in and out. And people, and especially young children, would come in. They were amazed at watching the bees. And when we end up, we lost the hive. Sometimes you lose them. They die or they leave. And a lot of people, they were pretty upset that we didn't replace them because they were so used to seeing those bees.
Did any bees ever get lost, or did they ever sting anybody? Did anybody know bees ever got it?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you remember the killer bees that were supposed to come in? Do you remember that years ago?
Yes.
There were bees in Africa, and they were coming across. Everybody's like freaking out.
Afraid to start your lawn more because they were attracted to
the killer bees. We're all going to die from the killer bees.
I remember that.
But tell that to the person who died from the killer bees over in Africa, right?
Exactly.
But you have a passion of, I guess you would just say, adventure, and that's really cool. But when did you start running? Were you, as a kid, did you like to run? I mean,
no. The old story that we've talked about before. When I was playing baseball and basketball, you hated to run. The only time you ran was when you made a mistake on the floor, and the coach would say, "Give me 5, give me 10," and I hated it. But when I was 30, and Pally and I started dating before we got married, she was running long before me. And so I started running some with her, and I recall going out to MTSU and doing a couple loops around the old track that used to go around the football field, and went home and felt I was going to die, after doing 2 quarter-mile loops. And from there, Pally and I started running. I'd run with her and try to keep up with her. And then we started doing 5Ks, 10Ks, and it evolved into marathoning, and we both loved it. It became part of our life, and it still is today.
And being that she's a nurse, I've heard the story. I've heard you got bit by a snake. Is that?
I did.
Was it a rattlesnake?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was training. I was trying to remember the year. I was training to do, I think the Western
States?
No, I think it was, I ran Western States. I think I was training to do Badwater, and I went up to up to Swanee, and they have a 21-mile loop up there. And I've gone up there to run that loop to get in shape. I'd get up early in the morning, go up and start and run, and then come back home. And thinking it was maybe around 2:06, I'm thinking 2:07, that I was training for Badwater, and I was up there and got up early and started the loop up at Swanee on the bluff, and I was about 45 minutes into the run. And when you're running early in the morning, the wind's in your ear, you don't hear a whole lot.
Right.
Your mind's going.
Zone.
Yeah, you're in the zone. Mind's going different places, thinking about different things. And so I never heard it. But long story short is, I went through high grass, and something hit my knee, and then I saw it was a rattlesnake hit the bony part of my knee. I fell down, obviously almost in shock. I jumped up. I took off to get out of the grass.
Get away from the snake.
I envisioned there's probably more snakes in the grass.
It's going to swallow me.
Yeah. and so and I remember it was a rather large rattlesnake. And after I went about 30 yards down the trail, I stopped and looked. And it had two holes right around.
Blood.
Yeah, blood coming out of those two holes. And I thought, I'm in trouble because I knew where I was on the trail. I was about 45 minutes in.
No cell phone.
No cell phone. And I always heard, well, if you need to be calm and don't let it go through your system. And so I just thought, all I can do is I've got to walk out of here. It was probably 6:30, 7 in the morning, but I started walking, and then about every probably 30 feet, I would stop and look at the holes, and then I'd walk and stop and look at the holes. And then I thought, well, I feel okay. It's not swelling. I'm going to start jogging a little bit and get out of here. So I did get out. I never passed anybody, saw anybody. Got back to my car. Went to the infirmary up there. They had a little infirmary up there on the weekends. I was on a Saturday morning.
That was probably the biggest thing that happened there in years.
Probably. I went in, but to make a long story short, I got educated on snake bites by the physician there that I didn't get injected. They usually don't inject you if they don't think they can eat you. I didn't. But anyway, he gave me a shot.
Like
said
an EpiPen.
Yeah. He gave me and said I should be fine. He wrapped it up, and I was supposed to do a long run, so I ended up going back and running at Swanee and finished up my 21-mile run that day. But I did it on the gravel roads around the football field and down by the cross. I did all.
While the broken beer bottles are.
Yeah. But I didn't get back on the trail. I was scared to death, so. Anyway, I recall driving home. I called Pally and told her that something very strange happened to me today. And she said, "What was it?" I said, "Well, I got hit by a rattlesnake, but I'm fine. I'm okay. Didn't inject me." And so that was a strange story, but true story that happened. And I was very lucky, I guess.
I want to get into the. You had mentioned Badwater. And then the western states. Explain those two. Which one's the hardest? Is it two different?
They're two different trail. I mean, Western States 100 is the oldest ultra in the country, and Strolling Jim, which is here in Wartrace, is the second oldest ultra marathon in the country, which I'll hopefully this year in May I'll do for the 38th time. Western States I did in 92 and 94.
What all does that include? Is it just running?
It's 100 miles, but it's on the old Western States Trail. It's a very tough course. Goes through a place called Michigan Bluff and Devil's Thumb. It ends in California. It is in California.
The lowest, and then goes to the highest?
That's the Badwater is the
okay.
lowest. That goes from the lowest 282 feet below sea level to the highest, which is Mount Whitney, but it stops at the portal. We're at 9,000 feet. They don't let you go. The Park Service won't let you go to the top of Whitney. But I have done that race 12 times. But Western States was something which has kind of gotten me into ultra running more. I saw that on the old Wide World of Sports, as you recall.
Yes.
And I always thought, no one could run 100 miles. I watched that on TV on the Wide World of Sports. So that became a goal. I thought, it's interesting.
Well, we're going to tell more, or we're going to have David Jones tell more. We still haven't got to the Mount Everest part. You've been listening to WGNS, The Roundtable. We'll be right back.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
What's the location of your emergency? I think my kid OD'd.
Hi, I'm Craig Harris. I'm County Commissioner of Rutherford County. One of the reasons I ran for office is because I wanted to bring awareness to the opioid epidemic that's impacting our county. To stop providing this epidemic with people as we educate. We have a lot to do, and we have to come together as a community because this problem is not going away.
This is Chip Walters, and I'm honored to be your 2024 MTAR Realtor of the Year. I'm with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, and like many of you, I've seen the real estate market shift and change. People often ask, Chip, what's really going on? Well, that's a great question, and I believe in answering with solid, factual data. So let's cut through some of the noise. I invite you to reach out. Let's have a conversation about your real estate goals and the current market trends in your neighborhood. You can find all my contact information at choosechip.net.
South Central Bank has 2 CD specials that will help your money grow. South Central Bank has a 5-month CD with an annual percentage yield of 4.15% or a 25-month CD with an annual percentage yield of 3.8%. 2 great ways to put your money to work. You choose the term that works best for you. $500 minimum balance to obtain the APY. Stop by any of our convenient South Central Bank locations today and take advantage of our 2 great rates. South Central Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good Neighbor Events is brought to you by Old National Bank, the law offices of John Day, and AmeriCare Pest Control.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Now, WGNS Good Neighbor Events. The Salvation Army's The Princess and Her Hero begins at 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon at the Salvation Army on West Main Street. All of the area princesses and their brave heroes, dads, grandpas, uncles, or even a special father figure. A fairy tale evening of their daughter and their hero. It starts at 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. The admission, $5 per family at the door. That's this Saturday at the Salvation Army. And remember, the Red Cross is critically low on blood. Please give the gift of life. Phone 800-RED-CROSS. And make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. There's a free grief support group every Wednesday morning at 10 at the St. Clair Senior Center. Don't throw away old glory. Bring your tattered American flag to WGNS and let the girls from BSA Troop 2019 at Trinity United Methodist Church retire it with dignity. Plus, we also recycle Bibles. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor Events.
Rutherford weather.
Lots of sunshine today with daytime highs approaching 64. Lows dip down to about 43. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Right now, it's 47 degrees.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Sharing Change has donated now over $12 million to local nonprofits. Find out how your spare change can make a big impact at sharingchange.org.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back to the Roundtable. This is Mr. Murfreesboro Bill Wilson, and we've been joined in the studio with local adventure legend David Jones. And let's get right into Mount Everest. Had you always wanted? I guess everybody would like to climb. It's a very dangerous. I don't know anybody just says, "Hey, I'm going to go climb Mount Everest." There's got to be training involved. Of course, your background of running and your top health. How do you train for something like that? I guess you've been doing it all your life.
Yeah, because I'm not a climber, so my objective was just to. I guess I was going to kind of test the waters because I always had in the back of my mind I would like to maybe look at trying to summit Mount Everest, but I had no climbing technical skills. I knew I was in shape. And a friend of mine I mentioned to you earlier, Marshall Ulrich, who ran Badwater, the race that I've done 12 times. Yeah. He was a climber, had technical skills, and had summited Everest twice. And that always kind of stuck in the back of my mind. that had some interest there, and I always wanted to see Mount Everest in person. I thought that would be fantastic to do, and so I knew I was in physical shape through my running and training, and so I decided to go and test the water, go to base camp, spend the night at base camp a couple of nights, and I wanted to go with 5 people that were going to try to summit Everest. I didn't want to go just on a track. I didn't want to go on a track with people just tracking. I want to go with to look at their mentality and kind of, question them why and
what it takes.
And what it takes and what their motivations are. And I found that interesting. So that's why I went with 5 individuals that we're planning on trying to summit Everest in 2023,
so
a couple of years ago.
3 years ago. But you can't always climb Mount Everest. There's a certain period of time that's okay or better chance of summiting.
That's right. There's a narrow window. Weather really determines that, and the thing about that, especially today, there's so many people wanting to climb Everest. It's a death trap up there. Just
a lot of people.
Yeah, there's so many people wanting to climb, and there's a narrow window, and generally it's around the first couple weeks in May. Certainly, the month of May is when most people try to summit.
So, and you don't have to tell me the price. I've heard anywhere from $50,000. I mean, the cost to do it is in the thousands of dollars. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I guess, you can go. There's different companies in Nepal that you can go with the low bidder. You can climb Everest for probably with a Sherpa guide for maybe $15,000-$20,000, or you can pay $65,000 to $100,000. It really depends on the trip that you want to take and having enough Sherpas and support there that you can get up and hopefully get back.
And knowing you, I'm going to put you in the 65 to 100, right?
No, hey, I was tracking, which is much less expensive. But I think some of the guys that I were with, the 5 that were going to try to summit, we had those conversations, and not counting their equipment, which is very expensive, getting ready to go. Most of them were in the 65 to 75,000 range.
And what did you call the people that help you go up? The
Sherpas, yeah, they're Sherpas, and they're extraordinary individuals.
That's where they live. They're used to it, right?
Yes.
Their lungs are acclimated to it.
It's amazing to watch them. When we were tracking up to base camp, we just had day packs on, and the Sherpas took our heavy gear. They took it on ahead of us.
They're the mules, yeah.
Yeah, and of course they did have yaks and mules carrying supplies to Everest Base Camp. But these Sherpas would go from village to village, and they would come. You would have to get off the trail, step aside to let them come by you, and they'd have 150, 200 pounds on their back. They would be like these little fellows about 5'6", 5'4", and they would carry all that weight on their back with a strap around their forehead. That's what buried the weight. And they'd come by you, and of course we had hiking boots, and we hit snow, of course, and ice, and some of these Sherpas would come by you with those on their back, and they'd have flip-flops on.
Wow.
No shoes, no socks. No, it's almost, you sit there and couldn't believe it.
Let's talk about how, from Murfreesboro, do you get to Mount Everest? Let's talk about your flight. You fly. You fly? Where do you fly into Nepal, and then you have to hike 2 weeks? I mean,
actually, yeah. There's a
get us to Everest from Murfreesboro.
Well, in my particular case, and there's several different routes you can go, but in my particular case, I went to Texas, and from Texas, Qatar Airlines, which is a great airlines, took Qatar, and we went over to Qatar. And from there,
that's Africa, right?
Qatar, it's a Middle East. It's the Middle East. Yeah, it's around. It's that part of the country that you're a little
probably stay away from, right?
A little reluctant to have layovers, but
a fly ban for Americans. But go ahead, David, pick us up at Qatar.
But they're a very wealthy oil country, and the airport when I got there. It was amazing. Their airport had Saks Fifth Avenue. All the stores that you would see was in the airport that you would see on Fifth Avenue in New York City.
Wow,
yeah, pretty impressive. And then from there, you take a flight over to Nepal from Qatar. You fly over to Nepal, And then when you get there, it's a different world. It's a guy standing with the guns at the airport, and our guide just told us when we got there, just have your papers ready and smile, and whatever they say, just say yes sir, okay, and smile. Don't. And if you do that, everything went.
Was there a language barrier? Did you have somebody that knew that?
Yes, we
bilingual?
did. We did. We had our guide who met us at the airport. You had to get through before you could get to your guide. You had to get through all their securities coming into the country. But after you got through that, there was your guide there, and he had us took us to our hotel, and he was very fluent in speaking.
You got to
English.
trust people. You have to trust people and things like this. Did you know your guide? Did you talk to him before you went over there, or you are trusting this company to guide you?
Yeah, you're trusting the company is what you have to do. You have to put your faith in them, and but the people in Nepal were very friendly. It was a very poor country when you were there. I recall before we left to start our trip, I went in to get some things at one of the little local stores close to the hotel where we were staying, and I think I gave the young lady at checkout, I think I gave her a $5 tip, and
like, I'm rich.
Yeah, but they make $50 a month on average. That's a good pay, and when I gave her a $5 tip, when I went in to buy a few things, and she started crying.
Wow.
And I was
a blessing.
I was put back by that. It makes you, so when you get back to the States, you realize we're somewhat blessed.
So take us from Nepal, because I've heard it takes several weeks. You have to acclimate your lungs, but you've got your guides with you at the airport.
Yeah, well, you have. It's an organization that they have a driver, and then they take you to your hotel, and then from the hotel, then the guides that you'll have on your hike into base camp, they will be there. You'll be there staging for a couple of days everyone comes in from different cities that are going to be doing the hike, and the climbers that I was going with.
The other five.
Yeah, the other five that were going to try to summit. They were coming, one from Boston, one from Oregon, one was in Colorado. So they were from different places. So we finally all get together. We have dinner and introduce each other.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then our guide was a guy named Panuru, he had hiked, or he had summited Everest, I think 17 times.
Oh my Lord!
But you want someone that's got experience,
of course. So it's nothing for him, he's like whistling going up the mountain, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was on. Occasionally, we'd be going to some pretty exposed places, hiking up, and especially when we hiked in. He wanted to take us to his home village, so we had to detour off of what a lot of people call the Everest Base Camp track that most people take to base camp. We went over a different mountain, and we hit some snow and got a little concerning and some exposure. Going to his village, and that's where that was on April 1st. I remember because when we finally got to his village, that's when an earthquake hit. And
is that where you were inside? Y'all were sipping tea, and was it a hut or was it?
No, it was a building in his village, and we'd all sat down for tea. We just got through hiking in over the mountain, and so we were taking a break and having tea. And we were going to spend the night in his village before we took off the next morning, and. We all had sat down, and about that time, things started shaking. The building started shaking, and Panuru was sitting to the left of me.
And you're not epileptic either, right?
No,
okay.
No. As I recall, in Panuru, the guide was sitting to the left of me, and so he jumped up and took off to get out of the building. I jumped up and just followed him. So
you followed him?
Oh, yeah, we all jumped and took off to get out of the building, yeah. And then it stopped, and we went back in and had tea.
How do they communicate? And remember, this isn't the Smoky Mountains. This is the Himalayan mountains, where in Everest it's close to 30,000 feet. And there's other, I don't know how they name them. This is number 2. There's different mountains, not as tall, but they're right up there with Everest.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, just seeing the environment there all around the Kumbh Valley going into that you're hiking into Mount Everest, the views are just.
But you see 7 like Chattanooga, where you can see 7 states. No.
Hey, if you can get to the top of Everest, I guess you can see pretty much everything.
But China,
China. You can summit Everest from the China side. Yeah.
And there's some falls. What are the falls that y'all went around? Well, we'll talk about it here in a minute. But there were some falls that are famous over there. Do you remember the? I'll think of it here in a minute. But they train you, but you're climbing up this mountain, and about so many feet over there, there's like a 10,000-foot drop.
Yeah, but really, when we went off the Everest track, the main base camp track that most people take to go to his village, that was the only part of it that was made me a little uneasy. We had gone over a mountain, and we had some exposure. And then we had a whiteout with snow and ice, and we were on some edges that were maybe 2 foot wide, and you had a good, 5,000-6,000 foot drop to the right. And not being a climber, I got a little uneasy with it. Even the guys that were going to try to summit Everest, they got uneasy with it because we didn't have any crampons on our shoes. We just had our hiking boots.
There was no spikes.
No spikes. So we were. It got to a point where we were on all fours in some situations for about 45 minutes in a section, and I didn't look to the right, but you knew you couldn't go back down. So you had to make sure every foot and every time you grabbed, you had a good hold.
I'm like, thank God for Depends, right?
Yeah.
So you're going up the mountain, and let me ask you this: we had talked about the gentleman, the doctor from Oregon. Y'all had become friends, and from the airport where y'all went into Nepal to base camp, which is like 20,000 feet up.
Yeah, that's right.
How many days did it take?
Our hike-in was, our itinerary was for 15 days, and that gives you time. You could hike, it's 36 miles from where you began the hike into base camp, and you could do that, in my case, I'm sure we could do it in a couple of days, but your body has to acclimate to that altitude.
Your lungs especially.
Yeah, they say if you flew someone today that hadn't acclimated, if you flew them to the top of Mount Everest and let them out in a helicopter, which you can't do that, they'd die in about 15 minutes. So you have to acclimate. So we would go to a village, spend the night, and then we'd acclimate. We'd go up to 10,000, then to a village at 13,000. Then we went to into Namche. We're there one night, and then we went on up to 15,000 feet. And from 15,000 feet, we stayed there for 3 nights to acclimate. And then the next day from 15,000, we did the final push up to Everest Base Camp at right at 18,000 feet. Yeah.
When did they have to put oxygen on? At what point? Is it 25,000 feet? Is it 22? Do you know?
Everyone's different, but generally when you go into the death zone, which is 24,000 feet, 24 up to the summit, it requires oxygen. There are some of those people, the Sherpas, that can do it without oxygen, but
they're so acclimated to it. Yeah.
And generally, when you're going to base camp 1, which is at 21,000 feet, and then base camp 2, 3, 4, and then base camp 4 is the last camp before you do the final push to summit. So I just did the base camp, and then I went up to the Kumba Ice Falls, which is very dangerous.
That's it.
Yeah, the
Kumba Ice Falls.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous section, but I always wanted to see that up close and personal, and you can't go past that without a permit to summit. So me and another guy did the day hike to the Kumba Ice Falls.
That's where they put those ladders across.
Yes, the ladders and the crevasses and those what looks small. Some of those ice chunks are 70, 80 foot tall, and that glacier, the Kumba Glacier, is moving constantly. So when you're sleeping at base camp at night,
you can hear stuff cracking.
You hear it popping, cracking. Yes,
Lord.
yeah.
Did y'all ever get caught in a storm? And that's probably one of the most dangerous times to be up on the mountain when the weather can change
so quickly. We were very fortunate to have good weather, with the exception of when we left Namche. I think it was on the day 9 or 10, when we took the route to go to Panuru, our guide's village. We got off the main track and went over another mountain, and I didn't know that was on the itinerary. They made that change, and when we left Namche, we had a whiteout. Had snow come in. while we were on the trail, and that's when it got so treacherous as we were trying to make our way to his village. We were up on top of the mountain, and then the snow came, and so it got rather a little concerning.
Is there a generator at base camp? Because there's no electricity.
Yeah.
Does somebody have a special phone in case, let's call the helicopter?
Yeah, they're so well equipped. They have a infirmary there with physicians there. They have the satellite phones there, so they can make contacts. And when you're
porta potties,
yeah, definitely. and you'll see helicopters flying in and out on a regular basis, bringing in supplies and taking people off the mountain. And
what's the man with the green boots? There's several. Did you see anybody?
Yeah, no
stuck in the. I mean, dead.
No.
Of
course, 2023, when I was up there, that was, I guess, one of the deadliest years for Everest. They lost 19 people the year I was there.
The year you were there?
Yeah, 19 people died trying to summit and make that route. Generally, and as you mentioned earlier, one of who became a very
the gentleman,
good
doctor
buddy
from Oregon,
Dr. Jonathan.
Yeah, tell that part.
Yeah. We were together for 13 days. Well, we were for 14 days. Jonathan Sugarman, he was a retired physician, 69 years old, from Oregon. Great human being. We just kind of hit it off from the beginning of the hike, and went out to eat the night before we started the journey. And then we got to be friends. And as we progressed on up toward Everest Base Camp, you bond quite quickly with those people, and that's why I wanted to go with those 5 that were going to try to summit. Just again, check the mentality. But Jonathan was just a great guy. He was actually a very brilliant young man, but very calm demeanor. You could tell he was a problem solver, thought things out. He was president. He was president of Harvard in New York at part of his career. You would never know it, but he was a very accomplished individual. But he was a very accomplished climber. He had done his work. He had climbed other peaks, but he had always wanted to climb Everest. And he was at Everest the year before and got to Base Camp 2. Everything was fine, but the day I flew off the mountain on April the 12th or 13th. And Jonathan, they have to acclimate, so they'll go up to Base Camp 1, come back to camp. They'll go up to Base Camp 2, come back. So they'll acclimate for about 5 or 6 weeks. So they had started that process. And to make a long story short, on May 1st at Base Camp 2, Jonathan got pulmonary edema. And
what is that? Your heart just gives
out? You can get the brain swelling. I had some of that and got what they call the Kumikov, and that's from your brain swelling. So you have to watch that.
Is the pressure, the oxygen?
The height, and the lack of oxygen, and so your brain will swell or your lungs will start getting fluid. And apparently Jonathan started getting pulmonary edema and ended up, he passed away.
Up on the mountain?
Up on the mountain. And they trying to reach his dream of summiting Everest, and that's the sad part about all of that. Yeah.
But his passion, the passion of doing that. Well, we are going to take, on that note, we're going to take our last break. We've been talking to David Jones about his tour of Mount Everest, and we'll be right back.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
What's the location of your emergency? I think my kid OD'd.
Hi, I'm Craig Harris, I'm County Commissioner of Rutherford County. One of the reasons I ran for office is because I wanted to bring awareness to the opioid epidemic that's impacting our county. To stop providing this epidemic with people as we educate. We have a lot to do, and we have to come together as a community because this problem's not going away.
At Maples Realty and Auction, we handle traditional sales, auctions, and property management. And we have a development called The Maples with local builders and amenities. I'm Betsy Maples, and this is our team. It's our people. That's the difference. Call us today and let us help you get your property sold.
I refer a lot of clients to Maples Realty when we have real estate issues that are coming up. Working with Maples has been easy for me, easy for my clients.
Put our 57 years of success to work for you. Sold!
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big G TV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports. We've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big G TV, where radio comes to life.
When the weather turns bad, minutes, even seconds matter.
This is an early heads up for southern Rutherford County.
Rutherford Weather brings you live radar and expert meteorologist insight, giving you the early heads up when storms threaten.
A lot of areas are going to see some impacts from this storm.
From analysis to live camera views, we keep you informed before, during, and after the storm.
I think the vast majority of the hail with this now is going to be quarter to perhaps golf ball size.
Rutherford Weather. Stay ahead of the storm.
Local farmers, local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market.
Bundle up and make your way every Friday at Lane Agri Park.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back to the Roundtable. This is Mr. Murfreesboro, Bill Wilson. What a great show this has been. It's been a pleasure to have David Jones here. Thanks, Brian, always. We got about 3 or 4 minutes. Where do you go? I mean, what do you want to do next? Would you pay to go to the moon or Mars?
That would be.
Why don't you do that? The first Murfreesboro. Well,
if you loan me the money, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Bill.
I've been married 4 times. Listen, hey, David.
You said that. I didn't say that.
Okay, but look, you could outdo Hoot Gibson, Dr. Ray said.
No, I don't know about Hoot. Now I know Hoot and Ray both well, and great individuals. Most people are very fortunate to have.
But have you thought about stuff like that?
I think it would be exciting. But I've told Pally, and that's one thing. None of these things that I have done, I've been fortunate enough to do, and has a little bit of success in them. Whether it's bad water and some of the records I've been able to set in my age groups, none of those I could have accomplished without a lot of different people. Number one, Pally, she's all the races I've done. She's a very accomplished runner in her own right.
She gives you the IV to continue.
Well, and she's been my crew chief at Badwater, and then I've got many friends that have volunteered their time to crew for me at these events, and you can't do it on your own. So nothing that I've ever done or accomplished has been on my own. I've had that support.
A team. Have you ever thought about doing the race up at Brushy Mountain? It's called the Barclays.
Barclay.
I think you would do that. I think you would be good at that.
Well, Gary Cantrell, he's the race director at the Strolling Gym, which I've done 38 times out here at Wartrace. Actually, the Barclay occurred yesterday. It happened yesterday. No one finished.
It's been on for years.
No one finished 5 laps of the course. They all had the DNF or did not finish. That's just Cantrell. Some of the races that he puts on. Laz is an unusual, unique individual, but he's been very good for the sport of ultra running.
It's kind of like where James O'Ray escaped. I mean, that was part of the trail. That's where he escaped.
It's exactly.
And then they found him in a bunch of leaves. He only got about 600 feet up on the mountain.
Exactly. Same place. That's part of the course that goes by there. It's a lot of bushwhacking. That's why Cantrell's tried to get me to do it, and now people come from all over the world to try to do that.
It's interesting, very interesting.
It is.
So What do you have anything planned? Your next race? Do you have?
No, I don't. I've told Pally. When I did my last race, I keep training, and I'm in the process of getting back, going, getting ready for May. Sterling Gym will be my next race. So I don't have anything out there. I'll probably look seriously at doing this Badwater again in the future, and if I can stay healthy, I'm 74. If I can stay healthy. I'm right now ranked 6th in the world for my age group for 100 miles, and I've always thought if I could, all the stars could line up, I could move up that ladder with a good 100 miler. So something in the fall might be of interest.
Does Lee Alsbrook still run? He was our gym teacher, and he was a big runner.
Good question. I knew Lee. Have not seen Lee in years, but yeah, I remember he ran for many years.
Mark Hardison runs. Let's see, who else is a runner? My nephew Brian Elrod. They call him the Gazelle.
Okay.
But he's like you.
Well, my Gazelle days have gone, I think, at age 74. I have to work at it harder. I still feel mentally like I'm 30 years old.
Have you run marathon like New York, Boston? Have you run in?
Yes, I've
done it all. You've climbed that. You've gone up to the base camp. Do you think you'll ever go back to Everest? I was very serious about thinking about it, but after my event with Jonathan, Dr. Sugarman passing away, it really, I thought it's almost a selfish goal, and you have to have a goal that's selfish. But when you really, I don't know if I would ever do that. Probably at my age now, they say if you're over 70, 1 in 4 will not come back, and I don't know if those are good odds. Are you and Pally still getting along well?
Yeah.
Are you?
Well, I have to admit, she supports me 100% on everything that I've ever done. As far as the racing and 100 milers, I think she loves it more than I do. And like I said, she's an accomplished runner on her own, so she understands it. So I don't know. Everest probably is not going to be in the cards for me as far as trying to summit Everest. But when you I'm trying to leave
short mountains right down the road.
Short mountain. That might be more of my possibilities there, doing short mountain. But as they say, I've always set goals out there and try to pursue them. And when you do that, you give up a lot.
Right.
You for the things I've been able to be fortunate enough to accomplish, I've missed a lot of family gatherings.
Right.
And
you said it was kind of selfish, but
it is selfish.
It's paid. I mean, hey. You only live once, man.
Well, I think it was
as far as physically living. You know what I mean?
That's right. I think it was Warren Buffett said, if you seriously want to pursue your dreams and your goals, that you will lose a lot of friends. You'll miss a lot of family functions, but that's why Ferraris have 2 seats and a bus has 50. He never liked to ride on the bus.
Right. And Bill Walker used to say, "Those who dare truly live." Right.
That's correct.
Thank you, David.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation.
Yes, it's been a great show. You've been listening to the Round Table. Thank you, Brian. Everybody go out and do something nice for somebody. God bless you.
Subscribe to Big G TV. Local content that matters to Rutherford County.